Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As expected out of today's video, let's talk about Poster Machine in patch 2.1 in NBA 2K26. So, as you're going to see in today's video, I have an absolute plethora of clips that I was using in terms of playing with this and feeling it out, trying to get a test for like how I truly feel about the Poster Machine and trying it in so many different cases, whether it's for these lob catching instances that it already was good for pre-patch, but it's actually good for a couple of key cases now after patch when it comes to the meter dunking and stuff like that as well. Now, I will say I have a lot of stuff to get into with the video, so I hope you can kind of, hang on through it and all that stuff when it comes to like me trying to break down the information. Like for instance, one of the key notes that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is that I was using Comet, and as you can see, I was, using it in that spot right there, but eventually switched to Horn. And it ended up, with some clips where I'll show some with Horn, some with Comet. As you can see, this is what Horn is good for, and it's going to allow me to get a little bit more of an assessment on the takeover, even if it's not really the meter dunk I would prefer to use. As you can see the entire meter, and it gives a lot more feedback. Like for instance, if I were to go back to this previous one, with Comet, if I fill the meter up like this, I have no idea if it shrunk at the very last second. Now, you could see we did a meter dunk earlier in the video that we just showcased in this little cut up where it was a really terrible meter, but then we had that one right there that was like obviously makeable, and then this one right here which is huge, which has a defender in my way entirely. I think there's a lot to assess when it comes to these clips that you're going to see in today's video, and we have a lot of them for that matter too, so we can allow ourselves to keep going through this. I just wanted to give you guys a nice little hub for, clips and stuff like that you could see me using it, and not to mention to show you what this meter dunk stuff looks like a little bit, even without the takeover on or anything like that as well. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff, and like always, try this one to 1,000 likes. So if you're wondering, this is my new build. I made this specifically for the idea of running Poster Machine because I wanted to run 99 pass accuracy on a 6'8". However, run the Poster Machine takeover so I could ditch Dishmaster, but still use stuff like this right here. And I gave it standing dunk and stuff like that as well, but it's not what we're here for. Obviously, a lot of people who are clicking on this video are people that are trying to figure out post-patch if Poster Machine is worth running. Now, as you can see, this is still a contested meter dunk, whether it's a standing or a driving. Obviously, the animation is a standing dunk, but as you can see, with the horn meter dunk with the Poster Machine takeover, this is huge. It's the entire meter, and it's fully the entire meter, and it stays that way for most every single dunk I took that wasn't a contact dunk. Now, the contact dunks, for whatever reason, I already talked about in previous videos and stuff like that as well, that they're just terrible in some regard. Now, we'll get into the lob stuff a little bit later as well, but yeah, for contact dunks, it does seem that sometimes it will pull a defender into you and have them guard you well, per se. But as you can see, there are still some cases like this one right here where there are gigantic meters, completely makeable meters, and this is an early help defender. He's getting pulled into a contact dunk. When I don't have takeover on, I feel like this is a pretty bad take. Now, I'm still trying to piece this together myself, try and figure out why in the world that is a good meter, and then a couple of clips that we showcase that have like small ones, figure out why those are small meters. In this case, it's a smaller defender right here dropping off the corner, but once again, he's here early, bro. Like, I mean, this is really, really early. He's sliding down entirely. They let this guy play a 2-on-1. Ironically, I was telling my teammates, go deep wing so I stop getting pinched as much, and if they early rotate, that's the perfect way to test this takeover. Allow ourselves to see if when they get there early off the corners or anything like that, in this case, as you can see, both defenders were considering going. Boom, that one drops off the right corner. Late drop, can't impact the defense. In this case, as you can see, this defender on the left corner tries going, and they have this guy play the 2-on-1 on the left over here. Gigantic meter. So, Poster Machine overall is good. This is a good takeover. I consider it probably like an 8 out of 10. As you can see though, there will be cases where, and as you can see, some of the dudes are quitting out and stuff. Obviously, like, we're up by a lot in these clips, so some clips might be against bots. But as you can see, big meter, but ends up small. It's barely makeable by the time that ends, but I don't really know what's the application to like why that is so much smaller than the other. Now, to be fair, that guy is a lot bigger with a lot better block rating, and not to mention he's a bot that probably just played it perfectly, to be fair. But yeah, definitely bigger player. But then you could see when we get later into these games where dudes have quit out and stuff like that, we started, my teammates actually started allowing me to get a couple opportunities at getting some like block sits. So as you can see, like for instance, Salt on his dad's account in Diz mode right here sends his guy down to the paint and is intentionally trying to get some people to be in the paint defense for me to actually be able to dunk on, instead of me just flying by my guy and just having an easy access to the hoop. This is more simulated to if you're playing rec center, terrible spacing, cuts, people in the paint, bringing defenders down with you. As you can see, contact dunk animation, super big meter, 2 people around, easy. We're able to get that to go. I mean, a lot of these, like, you know, clips, if you look in the top right, we have a high field goal percent, tons of points, tons of rebounds, tons of assists. Like, I was averaging probably 30, 10, and 10 on this build, playing as like the point center 5 out. And this is with Poster Machine, and it's really helpful. It truly is like a positive. Now, I was having a really bad first impression on this. I tried it in the my court, loaded up against a bot. I was getting garbage, like, you know, meter dunk takes and stuff like that. Now, to be fair, that's against a bot, and it was me going in it with the impression of trying to be the exact same thing as pre-patch Blur. Let's get it straight. Let's get it real. Pre-patch Blur is better overall than Poster Machine is when it comes to meter dunking in general. Now, there are additional effects, in my opinion, that we'll talk about that I think Poster Machine brings to the table. But as you can see, you can't depend on it entirely. You can't just take brain dead takes, and even the ones that you think are solid, it's not guaranteed to be good. Like, it will enhance your drive game a lot. It'll still make you a better slasher entirely. You'll be able to depend on it with the meter dunking and stuff like that a whole lot more, but it's not something that you can depend on 100%. It's probably more along the lines of like 85 to 90 or something like that. But truth be told, it's super efficient. It's still really, really good, but there are inexplicably bad ones that just will kind of rattle you, make you think, well, why am I even running this? You know, but that's not the truth. It really is overall really, really good. So, the additional effect, though, that I do want to talk about, and that you have seen a couple of clips of with the lobs, is that the alley-oops are truly powerful on this. It's not just about, oh, I don't have to time my dunk, I don't have to press the right button on my dunk. Not to mention they devalued that a little bit in the rec center here, because with the season 2 patch, like 2.0, it made it where the alley-oops were only X button on non-comp, like park mode, you know, game modes, so like park, rec, stuff like that. Now, and as you can see, I'm still showing clips of me with no takeover on some of these as well, because I did still want to show you guys that I think the meter dunking in general is just overall better than it was pre-patch, because as you can see, a clip like this, in my opinion, probably would have been a small meter in like patch 1, or like season 1, if you will, where it would have been a really small meter, but as you can see, it was getting bigger as I ended up going toward the hoop. Unfortunately, I was running Comet like I wanted to initially, but I think, truth be told, for me as a content creator, I'm going to need to be running Horn for the meter dunk just to allow you the access of seeing things like this. But yeah, pre-patch, I think that would have been a small meter. And I just wanted to show you some of these clips because I don't think Poster Machine's the only thing putting in work. It could be also that meter dunking in general has seen a slight buff. So slashers stock are up in this game right now. And as you can see, me with the new build with the standing dunk and stuff like that, I wanted to feel confident in being able to go up for those standing dunks or just meter dunking everything in general. So that's why I kind of did a little bit of a revamp on this one. It's like less perimeter defense, less steal, and then more standing dunk and pass accuracy if you will want to look into that yourself. But as you can see right here, this is the only clip I got blocked on, like actually genuinely blocked on with Poster Machine. And as you can see, I got past my defender. I just, unfortunately, the LeBron dunks have some animations like this, even though it's an overall pretty good dunk package. I want to have a couple more just so I can reliably get into dunks consistently. But I don't know, that might be kind of overdoing it. I might even take LeBron off again and just go back to side clutches, front clutches, quick drops, and leave it at that, and then the standing dunk animations. But as you can see, little tomahawk that he cocks back and boom, he gets the block on it. It's like expected if you have the LeBron dunk on to get, you know, blocked on some garbage animation like that, to be fair. So anyway, yeah, it was still a good meter dunk though, obviously. And yeah, and then this one right here, as you can see, this is a really crazy one, and that's why I'm happy to have the standing dunk on this now. So I end up going for the drive. I get hit with a bump, like a really mean bump right here off my own player. And as you can see, I'm holding down on the stick the whole time because I was planning to go for the meter dunk with him kind of behind me into my back hip. So instead, I'm holding it down the whole time, and instead it goes into that standing meter dunk as soon as I possibly can, and it's still a plenty timeable one, good one. And I'm not here to really say whether or not I truly know for a fact if Poster Machine makes the standing dunk meters bigger, but it sure looks like it, especially at least the ones where you're moving a tad bit. Now, obviously, you know, takes like this, actually, you know what, let's utilize this to kind of assess whether, like, we think something like this would have been a big meter with Poster Machine on. Possibly? Probably, maybe, I don't really know, to be fair, for a fact. But as you can see, the horn meter, I just wanted to put this on display a little bit, it's a little bit less intimidating. I will say that much. Like when you see that little sliver of the meter dunk, you know you can like kind of react to that a little bit more. And then if it like, you know, gets bigger, it's not like as rattling, I guess. I don't know how to really put it other than like it's a steady, constant thing that shows you the visual meter the whole time, as opposed to Comet. Once it's filling up a spot, you kind of lose track of how big the green window actually becomes on the late end of it. And in this case, I can see at the end, obviously, that it's just a tiny meter entirely. So as far as feedback wise, I get to know things bigger, you know, in terms of like it's a lot easier to assess. Anyway, I'm kind of yapping. Let's get back to the point here. Anyway, a couple of clips that we see with this, it'll be stuff like this where I beat my defender off the dribble a little bit, I go for a meter dunk. This is really ugly to see, you know what I mean? I'm going for a meter right here. I have him beat a good bit. Granted, I'm low on stamina, I'm on 1 adrenaline. If you know anything about the meter dunk in this game though, that doesn't matter. Like truly, I mean, if you've seen it and you've tried it, it truly doesn't mean anything. Like the adrenaline, it's not as impactful, at all impactful compared to like shooting and stuff like that, what it does to you. It doesn't do a literal thing. So unfortunate take right there that, you know, that just ends up, you know, not being a meter dunk, and I can't even get into one, let alone it goes like, you know, big to small. But yeah, just again, still wanted to show you a lot of multitude of different clips right here, and I'd like to think that one is, you know, useful information, that it still didn't like get me into a meter, unfortunately there. Now, this one right here, as you can see, a little bit of nice dribbling, I gotta say. So we use that LT blowout, and then I don't get into anything right there. So then we do the, you know, snatch back into the run to the right, get past the defender. The defender drops off the corner right here, and once again, we still get a big meter. Now, what's really peculiar about things like this is that sometimes it shrinks a little bit, and obviously sometimes we had a full meter, sometimes we have like a sliver of up to like about right here where I'm highlighting, and then, you know, sometimes we're on this one that has this size. It's really like quite varied, and I think that's a good thing overall. Now, what I do want to show you guys too, and I'll get to the kind of a different section of this video real quick. As you can see, just a little block highlight that I wanted to show, and unfortunately my stupid self didn't actually show you guys, but just understand that I wanted to highlight one little section right here that I'm going to switch over to, and it is going to be the takeover surge. So this is a takeover perk that we now get, or a badge perk, I should say, that we now get in Season 2. And essentially, when you activate takeover, you're going to have either a, you know, you'll have a tier 1 and a tier 2 that are both max +1. So I, for instance, if I wouldn't have been dumb and didn't cut this out, when I get that block right there and it activates my takeover, I get Posterizer and Aerial Wizard buffed up 1 level, and I don't run them all game. It's just when I have takeover on. So the takeover surge is pretty cool synergy with something like Poster Machine, where I can do something like buff up my Aerial Wizard when I have Poster Machine, because people are more likely to throw me lobs when I have the takeover on. As you can see, wanted to showcase a really bad take that, holy moly, I just made a really terrible meter dunk on. But this is once again something where, like, on the gather, and this is my theory, right, is that the gather is what probably matters mostly for the size of these meter dunks, and these are the ones that are terrible takes. Like, A, there's a dude in the paint, B, there's one right on my hip. The gather is awful, me, like, going and being able to make this is awful. What a timing, though, on that. I mean, that was just crazy, but obviously it's one I should have missed, truth be told. So yeah, definitely don't expect that type of stuff consistently. But as you can see, standing dunk meter that I have Poster Machine on, and it was the whole freaking thing. Right here, Dre passing me the ball with the Dishmaster. Just wanted to show this because it's the only clip I had of it. But Dre had Dishmaster, I had Poster Machine. I was like, you know, just try and hit me on the wing. I'm gonna just force it, like, go into the paint. Full meter right there on the contact. It probably would have been anyway without the dish, but who knows? It's possible Dishmaster maybe buffs up the meter dunk entirely, of, like, you know, a couple of takes that it could, like, stack the power of those takeovers up. As you can see though, right there, I end up going for that hezzy to get back into the paint. Don't get a meter dunk at all, and this is once again one where I'm like a little bit kind of sad about it, because I do feel like I had my defender beat. However, it probably was this pinch defender off the corner right there that stopped me from even initiating a dunk meter at all. So it's reasonable, I think, on a clip like that. So overall, I would like to think what you've seen in this video is, once again, pretty reasonable situations, but then a couple letdowns. But overall, I'm not trying to gas this, and, like, it's not cope. It's not me just being like, hey, I'm just hoping for the best out of Poster Machine, and I'm just going to talk it up because I'm, you know, overall somewhat positive stance on it. No, I truly do think this is going to be a takeover that I run constantly now, and truly a staple in my game. So I'm going to keep trying to learn it and teach you guys, like, what I'd be learning any more past this. Is just 1 day of gameplay, 9 games. for that matter. I played like probably 3 hours or so and was able to compile all these clips right here. And thankfully my teammates were willing to kind of let me go on takeover mode and just like, you know, dominate stuff here. And this is what I was trying to tell y'all about. I got 1 adrenaline, I'm low on stamina, and guess what? Full meter with a dude sitting in the paint. Like, it's what I was just saying if you were doubting the whole, you know, adrenaline or anything like that. So yeah, sometimes this is just a letdown, sometimes it's not. Overall, my opinions on it, let's go ahead and switch over to that real quick. I just want to show a quick little box score though of a, you know, a game that we played right there. But my overall opinions of it, I find it to be about an 8 out of 10 takeover. I think I'm going to run it over Dishmaster. For my style, it's still like something that I would prefer. And the added value of lob catching is not to be joked about. Not to mention, I think it's a I actually didn't even mention this right here, but I do truly think it's a real threat in like comp modes even. So on this next bullet point right here, I want to kind of reference an analogy that I make to my teammates when they have sharp takeover. I usually will always tell my teammates in previous 2Ks, sharp takeover equals playmaking takeover because people will double team you when you have it on. So I need my teammates to understand that when they get that sharp takeover to hit me on pick and rolls and slips and stuff like that, because they are going to get doubled. They're going to get egoed by the other team's defense and really, like, you know, do stuff like that. So if you are a tunnel vision ball hog when you have an offensive takeover on, you're going to struggle. You're going to get irritated. You're going to say, why are they doubling me? Well, you know why they're doubling you, bro. So point being, keep your eyes open. Understand that something like Poster Machine creates a lot of aura, and, you know, for a lack of a better word, or, you know, a lot of threat, if you will, in terms of like forcing defenders to really send multiple at you. So inherently what I think actually happens is when you run something like Poster Machine and it now creates that threat of defenders having to drop, it leads to you being able to hit them with really easy open passes. Of if you just keep your eyes open, you can hit them with a really steamy dot, boom, throw it right to their corner, they have a wide open shot. If you run something like Dishmaster, it'll help them with their shot making, but realistically, smart defenders will never step off of somebody when you have Dishmaster on. It would just be kind of a case where they need to stay at home and you get more one-on-ones, which if that's something you want to do as a slasher and you'd prefer that, that's okay too. You could argue that me with 99 pass act, Legend Dimer, and Dishmaster would make it so like dudes really have to stay plastered to my teammates, especially if they're no dipping or something like that too. And I'd just have truly one-on-ones all game or something like that when I have takeover. But I'm cool with the Poster Machine having to make reads and stuff like that. I'm not a guy that's going to be forcing meter dunks when I'm trying to play serious, or let alone even not play serious. I try and make the right pass more often than not, even though in a lot of these clips, as you can see, I'm going for a lot of meter dunks. But this is just me putting it on display in today's video. But anyway, my overall assessment of this, it shouldn't be a crutch to taking awful takes, and it isn't 100% reliable. Like I said earlier in the video, it's more like 85% on the ones that you'd think are even good. It's still going to disappoint you sometimes, but overall, that is a positive in terms of like where we were at before this. So yeah, anyway, point being, I'm still learning. It's only day one of using it and me like, you know, understanding it and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep on trying to learn and understand more. And once again, the added threat of lobs and stuff like that is truly well worth noting as well. I think it could truly be something that we can actually do in Pro-Am. I mean, like, if dudes are sitting paint, I can get those contact lobs on people. We used to call it a fullback dive, where, like, essentially my guard would drive in first, create the threat of the big man stepping to them, and then it opens me up just a tad bit on that delayed roll on the opposite side of their drive, and then they throw the lob right over the big man's head, and I just contact dunk lob him. And then at that point, not to mention a low-key kind of underrated threat of you know, alley-oops in this game is that you get two-way tenacity for the finisher and the passer as well. So it's two people that you get two-way activated for on defense just for throwing a lob. That's pretty interesting, bro. I'm not gonna lie. 2 out of 5 defenders, or even 2 out of 3 if you're talking threes, getting two-way makes for a really hellish experience on the offensive end when they could just come out here and be ridiculously fast, great jumps, great blocks, all types of stuff like that. It buffs up your rebounding as well. It's ridiculous. So point being, you know, with the threat of alley-oops and just the fact that I don't have to time it, even if it's a super fast, you know, animation or something like that, I can't get the button press off in the first place. My teammates are more confident to throw it. You pair that with the takeover surge synergy as well of being able to run something like Aerial Wizard with a +1 and Poster with a +1 as well. I think this is overall a pretty good W for the game. And I think the game, I'm just here to talk about Poster Machine in today's video, but the game's in a good spot. This is very good balance, and I'm so glad to see what they did with this patch overall. Like, over all the patches, and now we're finally here. I've been posting some freaking outdated gameplays for the last couple of days because they keep on changing the game. So anyway, the point is that I think we're finally here and we're finally safe to post some videos, and I'm on a new build with it too, optimized for it, and I'm really excited, and I hope this video helps you understand it a little bit as well, and we'll keep on trying to lab. I'm gonna keep on trying to learn, and if you have any feedback that you want to drop in the comments as well, feel free to. But yeah, this is just my hub to like give you guys a couple of good examples of the meter dunks and stuff like that, what to expect, give you some like guidelines for your own, because I know when I'm going into my games today, I didn't have much to work with. It felt like Johnny Red and LaMonster were like the only people that were posting about poster machines somewhat diligently, and even then, it's not their preferred super duper play style like it's mine, so like I can't expect them to have much more than like 2 or 3 clips or anything like that either on Twitter. Whereas in this video, I wanted to give you like dozens of clips that could give you more context and stuff like that, and even with me, with like takeover off, takeover on, you know, like contact dunk annies, lobs, etc., all types of stuff like that. So this is just me compiling some clips and stuff. I mean, I could also, let me just pull up everything real quick. I have like gameplays, for instance, where I was gonna show you guys this. Let me pull it up. 1 second. So this was gonna be the game, for instance, that I was gonna show you straight up of like all those like clips, but I just don't even feel like it was worth it to like, you know, show stuff against bots. But again, a lot of them were in the cut-ups and stuff. But 48, 13, and 12. If we go to like a different gameplay as well, I mean, like first game with poster right here. Boom. Let's just go ahead and like, you know, accelerate through this. We ended up with 39, 7, and 10. Ended up 16 for 21, 5 for 6 for 3, by the way, is crazy. But yeah, as you can see, it was literally my very first one on the brand new build. 0%, 0%, and just me getting my hot zones was like the 44. So very first game of the patch, and it was still pretty reliable. I got like 47 and 10 in the rec right here, and again, it was a couple of misses on the interior, but even still solid, considering it's not exactly the one I even wanted to show you in the first place, but like it was still overall pretty decent. Right here, I believe they quit out around like yeah, literally second quarter, and we got 25 and 6. Unfortunately, couldn't end up actually showcasing like the entire box score here, so not exactly perfect. But again, 100% field goal, 24 and 6, and again had a couple of meter dunk takes. Anyway, point being, I have a couple of games, but they weren't really worth showing. I figured the clip cut-ups were good enough, and I could show you all of the true blue stuff, whether it was positive or negative, and you can just trust me that I did compile all types of stuff across the board between positive and negative, and just trying to give a couple guidelines to why it was good, why it was bad. But anyway, that's all video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff. Like always, try to win 1,000 likes, and if you made it to the end of the video, you want to show support that you did, put slash or put dunk in the comments, short sports matter through. But anyway, that's all. Appreciate y'all for watching. We'll have more new patch gameplay and stuff like that. I'm gonna try and get back to some 3s, some 2s, stay in the 5s. It's been fun, and I really can expect that I'm gonna be playing on a couple more different game modes moving forward here as well, and get back to playing, man. It's gonna be fun. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you enjoyed. And that, take these, man. Peace.